Hello, all, and welcome to the 2022 Southeast Collaborative Online Conference. My name is Dorcas Davis, and I'll be your host this session. And the title of this session is Create Eye Catching Displays on a Budget. This event is supported through funding from the Library Services and Technology Act through the Institute Museum and Library Services. Please feel free to email the speaker or any of the Southeast Collaborative Conference hosts your question, and we'll make sure that you get an answer. And now I'd like to introduce to you Letitia Stinson. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Hi. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Okay. All right. Yes. My presentation is creating eye-catching displays on a budget. Yeah. So a little bit about myself before I get started. I've been working in the library field since June of 1999. So I started out as a part-timer assistant. I'm now a full-time associate. So I've gotten, a few promotions through the years. But yeah, it's always say it started out, I'll work for the library for 2 years, and it's turned into 23 years this coming June. So as they say, life happens sometimes. And I enjoy what I do, and it has its challenges here and there, but I really found that I asked my manager one day, I saw other people doing displays in the branches. So I said, well, can I do a display? I didn't know if I could do it since I was part-timer. But the manager I had, she was very, she was like, sure, yeah, you can do a display. And so I was so excited. At that time, the first display I ever did was James Bond. I think it was The World Is Not Enough. I don't know, you Bond fans can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that came out in 1999. That was the first display I did, because I like James Bond movies. Roger Moore is my favorite. But my favorite movie is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. But anyway, yeah, so that was the first one I ever did. I just gathered all the Ian Fleming books that we had, put them on a little cart, printed out some pictures of the different James Bond actors. And that's it. That's how my first display started. So after that, I just kept going and going and going, and until I got more elaborate and more this and more that. But yeah, so I'm going to share my screen, and we'll get started. Okay. All right. So I think everyone can see that. Purple is my favorite color, so I thought I'd do purple. And that's another thing I always tell people, sometimes, put your favorite things into a display you're doing. And as we go along, I'll mention some things. Okay, so once again, my presentation is create eye-catching displays on a budget. All right. Where is it? Okay. It's not enter. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the next slide. Okay, so the first thing is, what is your budget? Has your manager given you a budget of 20, 10, 5, or $0? Well, no matter the budget, you can create an eye-catching display. Library displays can be simple or grand. It depends on what you want to do. And I always say, you can have $0, and I mean $0, and do a wonderful display. It just depends on what you want to do. But yeah, I always tell people, look around your house. What do you have in your house that you can do? You know, so there's always things to to find in around your house or anything like that. And I go into the next slide, we'll talk about a little bit more about that. Okay. Where can you find ideas and inspiration? And so one of the biggest myths is to create a display, you have to be a creative person. This is not true. Once again, this is not true. You don't have to be a super creative person or anything like that. You can create a display if you just look around you and at the resources that you have. So, if you, like I say, you can create a display really out of anything. You just have to be creative, I think. Oops, I'm sorry. So you just got to be creative. So I have brought a few of the props I've used over the years. This is some colorful gift paper right here. And then here is some more just plain silver paper. Sometimes you can use a nice plain gift paper, and something like this. This is kind of shiny gold or silver, but this is silver. And then this is another one that I really, really love. It's like I'm trying to make it last as long as I can. And I've used this for 3 different projects. So like I said, I'm just trying to make it last as long as I can. And then the other thing is, like, here are some movie posters that someone donated to our library one time. Hope you can see that, our movie posters there, but they're postcard movie posters. So it's from classic films from the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. So there's your, let's see, Breakfast at Tiffany's and Metropolis. And so all of these are just different classic movies, different postcards. So I got the idea. I said, I'm going to put all these postcards on this glass we have. We used to have a glass, this glass display that we used to put over the a block we had. And so I just put that all on this glass, and then just put some movies on there. And then one time I just did the posters themselves because we didn't have all the movies available. But if, I just thought it was really cool. And this is the back of it. And you can see all the different movie poster cards. There were 50 in all. And so I just thought that was really fun to do. Yeah, so let's keep going here. So some ideas and inspirations that I find are very useful are displays in memory of different authors and actors and singers or any other kind of public figure. Pop culture anniversaries. For instance, coming up this June is the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. Excuse me, the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. So that presents a lot of opportunities. You could do movies, the books, movies or graphic novels. So that's a great display to do for June that's coming up. And then you have your annual celebrations. March is Women's History Month, for instance. So you can do, pull some books on different historic female figures, or pull books by women authors, anything like that. So the movie or tie-ins, posters, bookmarks. I don't have one with me, but I remember when the movie Room came out, the marketing company sent us pens that had Room on there. And then, it was a company, I think it was Allied, and then this has been a few years ago, they would just send us marketing material for different movies that were coming out. So that was always fun to try to, okay, we had this poster and how can you work on a display around it. So sometimes to me, those are ready-made displays when you get bookmarks and posters and things like that. So, you just put a few things around it that fit that topic. Then the other thing is attractions that are coming to your town, Broadway plays, things of that nature. Give me a second here. Yeah, Broadway plays and fairs, etc., like that. When the zoo used to come, I don't know if the circus. So, do circuses even exist anymore? I know that they kind of stopped it, but you could, so like when Hamilton was here in Atlanta, and now that I say that, I don't think once again, I'm Letitia Stinson with Fulton County Library System in Atlanta, Georgia. So I may have said that, but I can't remember right now. So indulge me in that. So once again, so when the musical Hamilton came the first time to Atlanta, it was a buzz. Everyone was so excited. So I did a display on Alexander Hamilton and the figures in the Revolution, because I didn't have enough books to just do Hamilton. And plus I wanted to do things on George Washington and Ben Franklin and Aaron Burr, of course. And so I had different DVDs and books and everything to do with that time period. And then, of course, the easiest thing, holidays, or next easiest thing, but holidays. So, Valentine's Day, Christmas, Halloween, these are no-brainer displays. You just, pull all those books for the holidays, put them there, find you something, a nice graphic for Halloween, something with a pumpkin or something like that. And then you got your displays. Some people might do a little bit more elaborate with, different ghosts or other little things that go on. But, holidays are really simple. Like that, what they say, low hanging fruit. That's a simple thing to do, the holiday display. So let's keep going. All right. So the first display I have here is when singer, it's an in-memory display. And these are what I call quick displays, because you have to be ready to act quickly. Finding pictures and finding or placing items on hold as soon as you find out about that person's passing, because your patrons are doing the same thing. So as soon as you find out, grab the books or CDs or DVDs, and then you can always do a brief bio about the person. That doesn't take too long, but actually finding materials is the kind of, I say, the hardest part. So you want to try to do that the same day, if not the next day. Just start looking your branch, gathering materials, and then putting things on hold. So for the Diane Carroll display, I printed out pictures of her at different times in her life. And there's some DVDs there. There's her biography that's there. The Legs Are the Last to Go. And I also, to kind of supplement the display, I made copies of everything she had in Hoopla. So, use your electronic resources, Hoopla or Libby or Canopy or, anything else that you have. So I did okay, we don't have some of the physical things we may not have, but I want to show people, hey, if you go into Hoopla, you can find the Broadway musical she did. And, you can find these things and download them and listen to them or watch them. And that's one for Access Video, I believe. And it was some documentaries that she was featured in. So I did that. So for this display, I used this silver gift wrap. And to me, it was nothing really fancy. We were in the middle of renovation, so everything was kind of bare bones. I didn't want to get too invested in it. So, but I thought we should do a display on her because of all the many accomplishments that she did. So what I did, I just cut off some gift wrap paper for each row, 1, 2, 3, and just taped it under each shelving. Do you know that this display has been one of the more like kudos that I've gotten, like any display I've ever done? Because we used to have a thing on our system Basecamp where everyone would put their displays in, and you would do it. It was a contest with the branch. And so I got so many people like, I really love that Diane Carroll display you did. Oh, that was so awesome. That was gorgeous. And I'm just like, and I was surprised. I'm like, it's just silver gift paper. But, you know, maybe it was the gift paper matched with the topic. I don't know, but or the lighting that came off the gift paper. I don't know. But like I said, that really, it surprised me how the reaction that I got. So, you know, sometimes simple or streamlined is better. So, all right, let's move to the next slide. Okay, and that's just a close-up of the silver wrapping paper. Okay, and this is a display I did on Stan Lee when he passed in 2018. And so another plus with displays is getting help from a coworker. So if you're this person, you feel, oh, I don't know how to do displays. Oh, it's so hard. Ask a coworker who you know likes to do displays, and they could give you some tips, you know. But in this instance, I had created a display. I had used the sky color, if you can see, it's light blue and white, a sky color gift wrap. And I put it on the 3 rows. And I put the, you know, the different movies and books and everything. And so I was just gonna just print out the pictures and put them on the gift wrap. She had the idea, why don't you put it on a red cardstock, then put it on the gift wrap to kind of make it pop. And also she said to kind of go in with Spider-Man, because you know Spider-Man wears red and blue. I was like, oh, that is a great idea. So she did that for me because I think I was off the next day. She's like, I'll do it for you. So she did it for me. So when I came back, I saw this beautiful display here. And so I was really happy with that. So collaboration with your coworkers is a way to create a great display. So don't forget about that. All right, we're going to the next slide. So in 2020, Katherine Johnson from Hidden Figures fame, and B. Smith, you know, the guru of, you know, of food and home decorating and things of that nature, and a former model, I should not forget that, they died 2 days apart in 2020. So I thought I should put them together. And another reason I did this was because we did not have that many books on B. Smith. And I call it the display octagon. I had enough space for both displays to be prominently shown. And so I took advantage of this. And I used all 8 sides of the display. And so, yeah, so that was a really good display. And you see, I used my gold colored with the flowers. You know, this, you know, gift paper. I keep wanting to say wallpaper, but it's gift paper. So, yeah, so, you know, and that's another thing, you know, if you don't have a lot of books or a lot of DVDs or a lot of CDs on, if you're going to do an in-memory display, print some things off the computer, or, you know, just do like some bio information, or just, or, you know, print out a lot of pictures. So that could be a display, and people can, you know, find out more information for themselves, or, you know, you could put different electronic resources they can go to, like I said before. So I'm going to go through I'm going to show you like all 8, you know, all sides of the octagon. So give me right. So, okay. And this was Katherine Johnson again. And like I said, I gave a brief bio, and there's a books and DVDs, and also pictures from her life. Okay. And then it's always fun to add little known facts about the subject. Did you know that Katherine Johnson Barbie doll created a doll in her likeness? And so she has on pink, I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but she's also what was a member of the AKA sorority. So that's another little fact there. And I love that she has her glasses on, because she wore glasses. So, you know, a smart Barbie doll. Okay, so let's keep going. And that's her getting the Medal of Freedom from President Obama, or Congressional Medal of Freedom. I'm sorry, Katherine Johnson receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Yeah, that's what that is. All right. And so that's another book. And another pic, and then this is a bio about all her wonderful accomplishments she did at NASA. And then if you see in this, you see where it says she you know, not to just, you know, go too long about her, but she really was a genius. She skipped several grades, graduated from high school at age 14. And so I just thought that was things people would want to know, because when I was doing my research, I was like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know this. She got 2 degrees, one in mathematics and another in French. And so it was just, I try to do interesting things you may not know about. And so that's, like I said, the brief bio about her. And so, and then it may be hard to see, but the last sentence I say is, books and video about Miss Johnson can be found in the library catalog, Hoopla, Overdrive, and Access Videos, you know. So, you know, I try to give people information. Hey, you can take these physical items, but also look at the electronic resources too. And so, and that's just more pictures of her. And so now, as I mentioned in our earlier slide, our library system did not have many books on B. Smith. So I tried to add bio information on her. And so, like, for instance, she was the first African-American model on Mademoiselle magazine in 1976, which was a big, you know, a really big deal. And like I said, other people called her this, and she said, you know, it is, you know, I don't think, she said, you know, we're both doing the same thing, but people would always try to call her the Black Martha Stewart. And, you know, but, you know, that's how some people knew her as, but she had her own accomplishments, and, you know, they may have some things in common, but, you know, she was her own person. So, and like I said, we had a couple of books, you know, that book there, and you know, that's her bio. And then that's enough. I thought that was a really pretty picture of her. So I go for pictures I think that are eye-catching, or I know I'm saying eye-catching, but, you know, are dazzling, or things that just, and you can see that model.
Okay, All right, everyone. We had a small technical glitch, which happens these days in our Zoom age. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have like looked at like 100 Zoom meetings, and how many of them go off perfectly? Not many, but I'm glad I got it fixed and I'm back with you. I left off with B. Smith. And I was just saying how sometimes you can use pictures and bios to help supplement if you don't have a a like a lot of physical books or things of that nature. So like I said, that's a cover of her on her own magazine, should I say. That's her magazine that she created. So let's keep going. And I didn't know she had a B. Smith style magazine, but she did. And she had television shows. So she very accomplished lady. So let's keep going there. And so that's just another side of it. And then that's a book, one of her cookbooks, and then that's her on the cover of Essence. And one thing I don't want to make sure I mention is one thing I found, like with displays, sometimes patrons will ask you, is it okay to check it out? I think and I'm like, yeah, that's what it's there for. And they're like, well, I don't want to get the last one. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, that's what we have it there for. So I remember a lady asking me, because like I said, it was only 2 books, and she was like, can I check it out? I'm like, sure. And then I kind of joke, I'm like, as long as you bring it back. And so, I don't know if anyone else had this, where people will look at a display and some folks are hesitant. I'm like, check it out. That's what we want you to check it out. And if it's empty, we'll find a way to fill it back up or create another one. So, but yeah, I did notice with certain displays, if people don't see a lot of physical items, they're hesitant to check it out. But I'll just tell them, check it out. So let's keep going. And so the next one is really personal to me. I have even created displays for coworkers that passed away. This was a very close coworker of mine. She was like a second mother to me, really. And I thought she deserved, just nothing big, a small display, because she wasn't a flashy person. She was modest and quiet and everything. But people, yeah, so it's just a brief bio about her favorite things and her personality. And at your job, if at your location, if you want to do something similar about a favorite co-worker or favorite patron of yours or anything like that, that's not something people think of, but as a display. But I thought it was nice to do, and it was well received by the patrons at the time. So, and I used her favorite colors were blue, so I make sure I put that in there, and just a little info about everything, what her favorite poem was and things like that. So yeah, so it doesn't always have to be a famous person. It could be someone that you cared about or the community cared about. Okay, so we're going to the next one. And this is about when I told you the low-hanging fruit was holidays. Here's one on Valentine's Day. So it's just a nice little graphic with hearts, and then just some cutout hearts spread around. So that's the one I did for Valentine's Day of this year, actually. So the next one is again the Valentine's Day display, and it was a juvenile Valentine's Day display. So you see Arthur and Valentine and everything like that. So that's everything there. And so just going to keep advancing. And then this is one I did in the teen area called October is National Bullying Prevention Month. And so, it's not, like I said, it's a simple graphic. And I put it on our template that we use here in our system. And, just copy and paste and put that in there. But yeah, and it's just some books, nonfiction and fiction. So like I said, sometimes, everything then doesn't have to be all sparkles and whatever, you can just have something simple. And like I said, and for this, in certain serious situations, you may just want something simple. And like bullying is very important. So I just, like I said, I just had that. That's, so let's go on. And then next is October is National Cookbook Month. And so I didn't know this. I found this out last year. And so a lot of times if you maybe Google what is month, or if you have a Chase reference book, you can find out about all these different National Chocolate Day or National Pizza Day or National Money Week, and you can find out things that you never knew about. So I found out about this. October is National Cookbook Month. We got a lot of great cookbooks at my branch. And so that's just a few of them, ones that I thought that had nice covers. And if you look a little bit closer, and I call this a, to display kind of thing. I'm telling the people about October's National Cookbook Month, but also I'm telling them about our library systems cooking show, Let's Get Cooking. And then I'm telling them it's Monday at 3:00. So it's helped promoting inside the library and outside the library. And so, bringing more viewers, because the cooking show is one of the more popular virtual programs that we had. So I just thought I would, tell them about this. And hey, if you didn't know about this show, now you know about it. So and if you can, I always say, you can sneak in a promotion for your branch or your system for different initiatives they may be doing. Okay, so we're going to keep going here. And this is a juvenile file display. And once again, just a simple graphic with some nice leaves, but the leaves are different colors. And so I like that. And it picks up different colors in the books that I presented. So, and then that's just some more books. And so it was a file display, but a lot of the books got checked out. So to help fill that in, I started getting things that talked about that people think of fall, like apples and maple trees and pumpkins and things that associate with fall. So, once if your display starts dwindling, find things that are associated with it and just kind of fill in those gaps. So let's keep going there. And so this is for September, and it's library card sign up month, which I know a lot of y'all know about. So I printed the graphic that the ALA sent this year. And that is, I believe her name is Marley Dice, D-A-I-S. And so she was the spokesperson this year. So I printed that out on nice, orange and blue, yellow background. And so, and then just pulled books that had library in the title, fiction and nonfiction. And when we open up for renovation, we have this quirky wallpaper, I should say. So I put it up against that, so it kind of, that's even more eye-catching. So let's go to the next one. And that's just some more books about going to the library. And so now is Free Comic Book Day. That's it. I believe it used to be in May, but for last year, everything COVID related, things get pushed around. So last year it was August 14th. And so we mixed in, I think some other staffers helped. So we had like our books on the left-hand side, books that we own, and then on the right were the free comic books. And so those are free for people to take. So I thought instead of just advertising the free comic books, I would put our books too, like, hey, you can check out these, but then you can keep these. So, and it was like maybe 10 of the different titles you see there. All right. And so for summer reading, the thing was Tales and Tales last year. So I was just trying to think, I'm like, what can I do with Tales and Tales? So then I said, oh, I'll just find books that had tail, TAIL and TLE, plus also things that had like an animal in the book title. So like I said, that was one where you kind of stretched it a little bit and got inventive with the thing. So you see all the different books there that's listed. And so once again, to talk about like promoting your library, we also have the QR code for people to sign up on Beanstack for the summer reading program. So all right, I'm going to the next slide here, and that's just another picture of the Tales and Tales of the different books. And that's another, didn't know I had 3, but hey, so that's another slide there. All right, so and another one, this is May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I just found a graphic. I Googled it, found a graphic, and then just said, check out these books and nonfiction books on mental health. So like I say, certain topics that are, sober or serious, you don't need a lot of bells and whistles. I always say a nice, simple graphic and just some books, that sometimes is a good enough display, That's just my opinion, So, and then, I have a few books there spread around. That's a close-up of it. And so this here is a display on Mother's Day. So it was celebrating motherhood on the big and small screen. And so once again, I just picked a few titles, TV and movies, put them out there, and let people check them out. So some more obvious than others, and some not. But like I thought White Oleander was a good one to do, because people really, you may not think of that as a Mother's Day type movie, but it is, because this young lady goes through 3 different mothers, so to speak, and her, but not to get too deep into the plot, but I always feel like you can do an obvious, like Gilmore Girls. Everyone knows Gilmore Girls, real close relationship between Rory and Lorelai, but maybe some other lesser known mother duos, or just mother-based movies. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next slide, and that's just another picture. And so April, I believe it's the second week in April, anyway, last year, April 10th through the 17th was Money Smart Week. And so I did a display on, investing or learning about money, or how to save and budget. And so this is one of the displays, what I called, I mixed in adult and juvenile. And sometimes I'll do that depending on the subject matter, because no matter how old you are, everyone needs to know about money and how to save it and how to do better with it. And I especially think children need to know, because you never learn how to, it's always good to learn how to save and learn how to, just know your needs versus your wants. And it starts young, because some people, they get 25 and wonder why they have all this debt. But but yeah, that's one I did for Money Smart Week. And I purposely tried to pick green and gold, because the graphic I chose was green. And so I had some leftover gold gift paper. So I as many books I could find, they had green in them. And but dealing with money, a lot of them have a green cover, green outline. But yeah, that one is, let me go to the next slide. And then that's just another angle of it. Excuse me. And so this is one for the Martin Luther King Jr. display. And And I thought we always see him as an adult, always see him as an adult. Why not find a picture of him as a child? Because all these great people, everyone started out as a child. No one sprang forth, fully grown and whatever. Everyone started as a child. And so I want to, you don't see that too many pictures. So when I would Google, it took a little while, but I found this one and I thought it was a nice picture. And so that one is of him as a child. And so I have, this is one of the mixed ages display. It has the children's books and the adult books. And so what I did on one side of the display is the kids' books. If you go to the back side of the display is books for adults. So, both, ages can look and pull books that they wanted to check out. So, and then, of course, that's him later in life. Okay, and then, like I said, that's kind of the full view of it. And so now this is a holiday display. Our friends group have some really neat red and white bags that they like. When you join the friends group, this is what you get a bag. So I thought, since we have the bags here, I'll use the bags as a as a prop or a display, so to speak. So, that's one way, like I say, taking household or taking common day items to bolster your display. And so this one here is, like I said, the two red bags, and then I just have some books about, Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. And yeah, this was in the children's area. And so this is another display about the holidays, but it's an AV display and sights and sounds of the season. And so that's the red bowl there is one I've used and different displays. And sometimes, you may have a go-to item, and that's one of my go-to items. I really like it. It stands out. It's nice color, nice shape, But I put that gold paper on there. And once again, the gift paper, I put the gold paper down, then I put the red bowl on top of it. And then I, excuse me. And then I put like the CDs and DVDs there. So yeah, so I did that, and just different things there. So all right, I'm gonna go to the next slide. Okay, sorry about that. Had a little technical, just a small glitch there. Okay, so like I said, that's the sights and sounds of the season. And so, that's a way to promote your AV items. All right. And so that's a bigger, like, I guess, a wide out shot of it. And sometimes, I may start out with one idea for the display, then I'll change my mind. So if you see now, I had a bunch of CDs under the Josh Groban CD. And so it was like, my thinking was someone might check out the Josh Groban CD, and then I would put the next CD up. But then I said, well, that seems like a lot of work. And so I just get some more holders and just put the CDs in individual holders. And that seemed to work out better. All right, going to the next one. Butterflies are a real passion of mine. I love butterflies. And so March 14th is National Learn About Butterflies Day. And so when my branch was closed for renovation, I did this display at another branch. And so it was just juvenile and adult books about butterflies. And a coworker of mine, she knew how to do origami. And so I asked her if she would do origami butterflies for me, and she did. And she did them in different colors. So, and once again, you see my gift paper I used before. So I'm gonna go through and you can see some of the butterfly And that's one. And so I tried to spread the origami butterflies around. And those were a real hit. And people like those. And that's just another side of the octagon there. And then I managed to find a book in our library system about making origami birds and butterflies. So that was a good find. And so sometimes with these displays, you'll find different books you didn't even know existed. So, all right. And that's so if I always try to educate people about a display I'm doing. So if you did know March 14th was National Butterfly Day, now you do, because I put that on the display on the the sign there, and I had that gift paper as a backing, and I thought that kind of tied everything all together. So the next one was the next one is just some more butterflies. And like I said, I really spread the origami butterflies around. So now we have Valentine's Day. And so this one was called Fall into a Romance. And so I pulled different romance books. And so to replicate like falling, I had I used some string and cut out some paper hearts and kind of taped them or tied them. And as you can see, the hearts are like falling or coming down. And then I also put hearts on top of this display cube. So, all right. So then so I added my favorite little red bow later on. Once again, sometimes I'll add or take away something from the display. Usually I add. So I decided to put that into there to really highlight the red and things falling, like hearts falling. So let's keep going here. And then that's just another shot of it. And so this is just a small display that we did for Friends of the Library Week. And so it was just telling our friends thank you for everything that they do. And so I thought it was cute to have the little stuffed animals and a card that said thank you, and then books that said thank you, and books about having friends. And so our friends do a lot for us and very helpful and help with our programs and everything. So that was just something small to do. All right, I'm gonna go to the next slide. And this is the one about dyslexia. I think that says October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. It's kind of smaller reading, but yeah, so that was when I did about dyslexia, and there's books and DVDs. And once again, I use gift paper as the kind of eye-catching. It's teal or turquoise. So that's what I did for that one. And that's just another view. And so now I was talking about using a movie tie-in as a display. We received some Tolkien movie posters when Tolkien came out. And so I thought I'd pull, of course, all the J.R.R. Tolkien books. And so I thought it would be cool to put, "You shall not pass without taking a poster." And so, from the quote from one of the movies. So that was fun to do. And people would take posters, some would take two. And so I taped the poster to the display case. And then on top, were smaller posters people could take. Okay. And so now one of my favorite pop culture icons is Batman. Batman, it was the 75th anniversary of Batman back in 2019, I believe. Or was it 80? Oh, I don't know. It looks like I have 80 years on here. But in any case, it was his anniversary. And so I pulled books and audiobooks and DVDs, anything Batman related. when I put items on hold, anything Batman related, it was there. And so, but yeah, I think that does say 80 years. So I forgive. So forgive me. I know the technical people forgive me for the 75. It was 80 years. But in any case, I thought I'd do something different, and I had a notebook. And if you flip through, you saw the images of all the different Batmans. And if you see that one is Kevin Conroy, he's the one that did Batman animated series, one of my favorite shows. So I love that show. But if you flip through, you would see different pictures of the different Batmans, animated and live action through the years, and the different characters of Batman, you know, Alfred and Robin and things of that nature. So I thought this is what I call it interactive. You flip through and you would see different things. So, and then that's another view of it. Right. And so this is for Volunteer Appreciation Week back in 2018. And so it's just, once again, just a small display and the little graphic showing the people carrying books or carrying boxes and just saying thank you once again. All right. And then that's another view of it. All right. So now this is a in memory display. This is when Kurt Cobain, the 25th anniversary of his passing. I remember where I was when I found out. I think I was in 11th grade, and my friend came up to me and she was like, "Did you hear about Kurt Cobain?" And I was like, "No." She's like, he died. I was like, "What?" So, you know, if you're a certain age, you remember those kind of you know, like big deaths, I guess. So I guess, you know, like when people who were around when Elvis died. So those kinds of things. So it was a 25th anniversary, and then, you know, a lot of people were talking about it. So I just got different books and DVDs and pictures and documentaries. So a lot of different things about him and the band Nirvana. And so, you know, those in memory displays are, you know, are good go-to displays, I guess, you know, and when, you know, especially there's a lot of talk about a certain person. All right, so let's go to the next one. And that's just another shot. And so this is the one, it's February's Library Lovers Month. And this is a display I did when I asked people to say, I love my library because. And so if you see the hearts to the right, it's a heart, and then you would just write in, I love my library because, fold it up and put it in the box. And then once again, I have my little falling hearts once again. This time it was awesome, polka dotted string, not string, but ribbon. And so, and it was different colors, red and white and pink and purple. All right. And then that's another view of it. And then and for that display, I had books about the library, like library life, working at a library, or where a library was a main part of the story. So it was fiction and nonfiction. And you see the book, check these out. And then there's a book called Free for All. So I don't know if you have read these, but I've read a few books about working at a library, and they're all usually pretty good. All right, so then you go to the next one. This is the blind date with the book. So I found a nice graphic with the heart, with the pages. And then if any of you have ever done blind date with a book, you know, you cover up the book, and then you just put like a sentence or so about what the book is about. And people don't know what the book is until they get home and open it up. And then, you know, you just, so like one of them is mother and daughter struggle to exist in the same house. And so you're like, what could that be? You don't have any idea. So it's fun to see people try to guess which kind of book to get. And then, you know, they don't know what they've gotten until they check it out. And so our thing was, you read the book and then you just let us know what you thought about it. All right, so I'm moving to the next one, and then that's just another broader view of it. And then this is a tie-in for A Star Is Born. I got different graphics of the three different Stars Born movie. And then I got movies on Judy Garland and just or picture or books about living that lifestyle, or doing or being in the rock world, or not really rock world, but excuse me, I think I need some water, but just to live things that have to do with being a superstar. So so movie and books about being a superstar and things of that nature. And there's even a Bollywood version of A Star Is Born. I didn't know that. So like I said, when you're doing research, you find out a lot of things. Okay. So that's just another view of that. And so this is another National Friends Week. As you can see, we really love our friends. This is the third one I've shown, or second, but this one, I had the little scarecrow up there. And so we had the forms to say, do you want to be a friend? They could sign up to be a friend, and also telling them what our friends have done. All the books you see displayed here, these are books that our friends bought from us for the funds from the, book, right? When they had book sales. So we were just showcasing, hey, this is what they bought us. And plus, hey, you want to become a friend. So, you can help us too, or, something like that. So, and I used the sky colored gift wrap again. Right. So let's go to the next one. That's just a little bit closer. And so, and it was just telling you, like, at the time that it's gone up a little bit, what the membership was and things of that nature. So, and how many friends we had and what our goal was and things like that. So let's go to the next one. And this is one that I was telling you about, the classic movie postcards. And so we used to have this display thing. It was made out of metal. And so you would put the postcards in there, or put anything in there. So I like that because it kind of reminds me of an ostrich. You can kind of see everything. And so I put different ones in there. And then, like I said, on glass, there were more postcards of, classic movies from the late 20s on to the 60s. Okay, and that's another view of it. All right, so now this is the Grease movie display. Once again, one of those pop culture anniversaries. So when Grease turned 40 years old, back in 2017, if my memory serves me correctly, then this is the display I came up with. So there's not a whole bunch, on the surface, you're like, okay, you're going to do a Grease display. What you're going to do, just have a movie, just have the Grease movie there. But no, I decided to broaden it and have books about the 50s and the 60s and what people wore and what was going on and the social climate and everything like that. So and so you see different pictures and stills from the movie. And I like Grease. It's one of my favorite musicals. Almost every song is great. So every song is great on the soundtrack. You can listen through all the way through. So once again, use those pop culture displays or pop culture moments, anniversaries, to create a display. Okay, so go, and that's a different view of it. And so we have the last few years we haven't had it because of COVID and everything else, but we used to have a spelling bee. And so the spelling bee display, I would to try to promote the spelling bee that was coming up. I pulled books on a theme. So usually we have whatever the summer reading theme is. That's what the spelling bee think. Those are the words. So I would pick, like, say if the summer theme was, dance to the beat. And so I would put books about dancing, or I don't think it was an actual theme, but things of that nature, So if the theme is underwater world, pull things on water or animals that live underwater. So the words would be coming from those types of books. And then I put books in about spelling bees, things of that nature. And so this here is just a display stand telling the kids, sign up, and then they put it in the little cute bee. And to circle back around, this was a collaborative effort because a former coworker made that spelling bee box for me. And so his name is Ponce de Bee to kind of go along with our branch, Ponce de Leon. So that's yeah, that's him right there, Ponce de Bee. Okay, so excuse me. So that's him. And so you just put your entry into his little head. And so the next one is another summer reading thing, Libraries Rock. And we just put different pictures of different rock stars and everything. So different popular people. So the next one is coming up. And yes, it's the same thing. It's just telling them, hey, you can listen or read to a book, and then this is for the adults. You only have to read, your first entry. You log it in. So let's go to the next one. And so one of these cultural things is the World Cup back in 2018. I pulled books on soccer and adult and children. And so I also did the little display where it had the World Cup group. So I listed all the World Cup groups so you could see who was in there and when they got eliminated and things of that nature there. And so, yeah, that was fun. So let's go to the next one. And that's just another view. And then another in memoriam when the 50th anniversary of when Robert F. Kennedy passed, and books and DVDs about him. Once again, it was a serious, sober topic. So just a graphic and just when he was born and passed and things of that nature. Nothing really fancy. And that's a close up of it. A lot of time I let the books and DVDs do the talking, so to speak. All right. So this is one Hamilton. I kind of went out on Hamilton. I made the graphics, not graphics, but I printed out the pictures. I cut them out and I put the names of each person under there, like when Hamilton and musical came. And so you see all the books, a DVD, and things of that night. So it was really fun to do that because I'm a Hamilton fan. I love Hamilton, and so I've seen it twice. So it was fun to do that. But this was the first time it came. So I put a lot of work into that. So I had what I did on the left side was how the historical person looked, like how Alexander Hamilton looked and how Aaron Burr looked. And on the right side, I had the portrayer in the Broadway show. So Alexander Hamilton in the left, Manuel, he's on the right. And then, you go down, you see Hamilton and Burr, and then the three sisters and George Washington and King George and so on and so on. And so, like I said, and the real person is on the left and on the right is the actor. So I thought that was cool to do. All right. And so that's another shot of it. And here's another Mother's Day display, movie mothers past and present. So this is just different movies about mothers through the years. So and this is another thing where I say you can repeat a display. So I use this display. It's kind of a purple and blue color. And I had different little, like a popcorn and movie reel. What I did after this display was over with, and that's another shot of it, I took out the sign about the movie mothers, and then I put a display about new DVDs that we had just got in, that we had just added to the collection. So that's a way to utilize one, a display space and use it again instead of like creating something over and over again. So as you can, I'll go back, you can see that's the movie mother display. And then this is the one about the new editions. So the same cube, you just change the writing. Okay, so this one is about a garden. Once again, I don't know how many of you do have gardens, but you just use some simple garden tools there. And we had some fake flowers, put that over a little glass, and there's your display. And then just say, how does your garden grow? So that was something that was really cute and simple to do. And people seem to like it. And this is it with the books in front of it. And people would stop, oh, that's so nice. And so it was something nice to do and really quick. So sometimes you can do something quick and it was eye-catching. And so a lot of times I'll do whatever the Black history theme is. And for a couple of years ago, it was African Americans in times of war. So I just picked books that had to do with that topic, different. You see Colin Powell and then African American soldier and different people that had. There's a book about Buffalo soldiers that had did things, had been in war, had been in the military, and then the sheet is just kind of a fact all about just like everything dealing with African Americans in the military. So, and then this is one. It's from the 2018 Winter Olympics. I went to a Dollar Tree, purchased the centerpiece for $1. And the centerpiece is supposed to look like a snowflake. So I, fluffed it out and tried to, and it also, like I said, complements the background on the graphic I have, the Pyeongchang 2018 Winter Olympics. So the light blue with the light blue. And I just thought it was really pretty and got some compliments on that because I taped it to a string and had it kind of hanging midair. I don't know if you could see there, but it was kind of hanging midair. But yeah, I really like that. Once again, just simple one item, and you can kind of just bring everything together. All right, and so now that's a different display. I mean, no, I'm sorry, that's the same display, just a different angle. That's it with the pictures. And that's it, and that is the end. I hope you enjoyed that and got some ideas and also, Google is your friend, or just if you go to other libraries and you see different things, that can help you. So yeah, I think that's it. And if you have any questions, I guess you could drop them in the chat or share or whatever you need to do. But I really enjoyed it and thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Letitia. This was great. I enjoyed seeing the displays that you shared, and hopefully I can come and see them in person soon. So, but thanks again for being here with us today. And I want to thank everyone for listening in to the webinar. And like she said, if you have questions, please feel free to email any of the SEC hosts or email Letitia, and we'll make sure that your questions are answered. And if an evaluation is provided with the conference session in the conference session resources, and we welcome your feedback about this session and the conference overall. And thanks again, everyone, for making the 2022 Southeast Collaborative Conference successful. And we do hope to see you all again next year. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right.